21 years ago, it should have become absolutely clear, even to the most naive, that the communists, who have the blood of about 60 million on their hands, had never intended to liberate the Chinese people. Having already persecuted both the house church Christians, who refused to join the Communist Front patriotic churches, as well as the Muslim Uyghurs. Without notice, the regime declared an unlimited war of persecution against the people of the Falun Gong. This was for two reasons. First, the number of practitioners had grown exponentially to be even more than the total membership of the Communist Party. And second, their philosophy, emphasizing truthfulness, compassion, and tolerance, is so contrary to the brutal dogmas espoused by the self-interested communists. They applied to the Falun Gong the same monstrous practice they applied to those found guilty of a capital crime, the sale of organs ripped from their still living bodies, no doubt after the depraved leadership had had their first pick. Being found guilty under the communists is the inevitable consequence of being charged. This is truly guilt by accusation. As a Soviet secret police chief, Lavrentiy Beria, once said, "Show me the man, and I'll show you the crime." The communists made the people of the Falun Gong victims of a trade in human organs without even the facade of a criminal show trial. If there were any doubt about this, this has been forever negated by the findings of an investigation of unchallengeable merit and virtue, the London-based independent China Tribunal. This was chaired by an eminent lawyer, Sir Geoffrey Nice, QC, who was the deputy prosecutor in the trial of Slobodan Milosevic before the International Criminal Tribunal. Among the evidence was that of Dr. Enver Tohti. He was forced to operate on prisoners against his will. The first was a man who had been shot in the right side of his chest and whom the doctor assumed to be dead. But as he was operating, he realized the man's heart was still beating. He was forced to continue and to remove the man's liver and both kidneys and then sew him up with the instruction, "Remember that today nothing happened. Nothing happened." It is clear that on the volume of organ transplants performed in communist China, and the fact that there are few voluntary donors in that country, the emergence of a large on-demand human organ industry is very clear. It's clear that the young, healthy, beautiful young people are being taken away, and for no other reason than that they are considered heretics by the communists. Their organs are being ripped out of their living bodies to be sold in this reprehensible trade. This has attracted international condemnation, understandably. While the victims have probably included Uyghur Muslims and house Christians, it is very clear that the greatest number are practitioners of the Falun Gong. This is an appalling situation and certainly something very reprehensible. What was truly extraordinary was that to coincide with the 21st anniversary of the beginning of this prosecution, with people around the whole world condemning this, Australia's taxpayer-funded broadcasting service, the ABC, chose this moment to launch an attack on the Falun Gong. It showed a program beginning with some obscure local government planning disputes in the United States, followed by interviews with some former disgruntled practitioners of the Falun Gong. Only when the local Falun Gong in Australia realized this program was to be aired did they decide that they would interview a representative of the Falun Gong without telling her what were all the claims so she could answer each of them. For this, the Australian Broadcasting Corporation has been praised in the communist media. Why, at such a sensitive time, did the ABC broadcast this? And why didn't they expose the live organ trade and the fact that so many Falun Gong have been imprisoned, tortured, and killed by the communists? Why did they broadcast this program? Why is the taxpayer-funded ABC acting as if they are the propaganda arm of the Communist Party of China? This is a scandal. This is an outrage. Parliament, the Australian Parliament, has a duty now, for the purposes of at least decency and urgency, to demand the ABC follow their charter and do the right and decent thing and respect those many who've been murdered by the communists for this notorious trade.